Hello everyone, this is Mumbo and welcome back to another episode on the Hermitcraft server. It is episode 115 and today we are starting things off over by the little zombie small trade conversion center that we created in the previous episode of Hermitcraft. And, well, I'm starting things off today by saying that I think this is bad. We spent a lot of time on it and we put a lot of work into the redstone development, but I've been looking at some villager trading halls. Specifically this one by Logical Geek Boy. I'll put a link to that video down in the description because it's a solid video. I'd suggest checking it out. He explains all of his decisions in full, which is always nice. But he has taken a slightly different route to the whole zombie conversion thing, and it's a really interesting one. So here we have our villagers. They make their way into the trade selection area. This is something that we've already got. This is where you choose the trade that you want, you lock that in, and then you send them off into the actual trading hall himself. And then if we take a look down here, you can see that we actually have a zombie just milling around underneath. And if we want to get our trades cheaper, so for example this guy right here, that's quite an expensive trade. We flick this lever here, that will drop him down. This guy will make his way over to him and do the work. Eventually, old Bill here will be converted into a zombie villager. We can then pop him up. We can shoot a potion of weakness and then give him the golden apple. He will then be converted back into a villager and have super cheap trades. And then also all of these guys will gossip saying, hey, did you see Mumbo converting that zombie villager back into a villager? He's a good guy. And all of these guys will drop their trades as well. It seems smart. It seems good. But most importantly, this is the most important fact. It looks really awesome, doesn't it? Look how awesome it looks. Can you imagine these stacked up on top of one another in my gigantic hall that I've created? It's going to look nuts. And also, to Logical Geek Boy, I appreciate the redstone on glass. I'm a fan. So I am going to get right to work on this one. Let's just get straight to it, to be honest with you. I mean, I have so much more space than I was expecting. But I think 2 layers is probably the way that we're going to go. And we can split these guys up 1 block apart from one another. I'm gonna have to check out the depth and things, but whoa, we're gonna be able to fit a lot of villagers in here. Oh, do we go double sides? Is that excessive? It could be excessive having 2 sides staring. But it would be really cool. And we are competing for 200 diamonds here. Well, this is a pretty solid start, as I've already captured a couple of zombies that we can use on the inside of this thing to actually convert our villagers. They're not going to despawn, they're holding items. This is already looking really cool, isn't it? I'm already excited for this. Now, we've had to make a slight design change in that we're not going to have the stacked ones anymore because they simply just don't fit. There's not enough room height-wise for them, but also 40 modules. We can have 40 different villagers in here. I don't think I'm ever going to need 80 villagers. This seems like it's more than enough. So now, after doing a little bit more progress on this thing, we're working on the wandering villager units. I think that's what I'm going to be calling these things, because this is where these guys are just going to be wandering about looking for villagers that they can potentially kill off, basically. And I realise now that I said villagers during that clip instead of zombies, which I mean, are there any murdering villagers? I suppose yes, there totally are. There's the pillagers. I mean, they're not really villagers, but they kind of look a bit like villagers. They're like the villagers' psychopath brothers. Can you remember the days before pick block? I mean, I would say, genuinely, the pick block function makes my builds about 50% faster than they otherwise would be. Especially when doing things like this. I mean, this is just perfect for pick blocking. You can just fly on through. I've decided it's probably smart to just focus on one side and try my best to get that done, and then use techniques that I've learned from that side on the other side to hopefully build it a little bit faster. Now I'm working on the redstone lines out the back, of course, placing all redstone possible on glass, because everyone knows the redstone on glass is definitely the future. I think all my redstone contraptions are going to be built out of glass from this point forth. But this is actually, I mean, we're approaching the finish here. This is going real smooth. The only slight problem with using glass for everything is that it uses, well, it uses a lot of glass. Thankfully, we have got stockpiles of it from that time that I tested out my super smelter with a full double chest worth of sand. But still, we're flying through my resources here. Regardless, it looks amazing. I'm happy to fly through my resources if it's looking this good. And one interesting thing about redstone on glass is that redstone is a one-way texture. Now, this was actually sent to me on Twitter. I'd completely forgotten about this fact, but it's what makes redstone on glass even cooler. Look, so you can see all of this redstone lines. It looks alright, it looks pretty cool, but if we pop down underneath, you can't see the redstone lines anymore. How sweet is that? I promise by about episode 130, I will have stopped going on about redstone on glass. Just right now, it's very fresh for me. Anyway, one bank of this villager trading hall has now been fully completed. So we've got all of the pistons across the top. You can see we've got our minecart rail, complete with activator rail. So this is what's going to be putting our villagers out into the system. It's all there. It's all kind of ready to go, apart from the string, which I haven't put on the observers just yet. I'm going to do that last. But this is it. This is it. So now we have to do the other side. And you know what? I think third-person time-lapse it is. And this one is going to be super fast. And during this super fast time-lapse, I thought I'd talk to you about Kubo. Kubo is my new golden doodle puppy. I'm sure all of you have seen him on Instagram. If you haven't, link to my Instagram is down in the description. He's adorable. He's very, very sweet. And we have had him for exactly 2 weeks now. And I gotta say, it's actually been quite smooth. I'm running on very little sleep, that's the only thing, because I keep having to wake up in the middle of the night to let him out so he can do his business, because puppies can't hold their business for very long. But he seems to be potty trained. I've taught him how to sit, and we're working on down. He can't quite seem to get it. He goes to go down, but then he kind of stops halfway. It's a little bit strange. Also, I've learned that he really hates this noise. Seriously, if I ever want to stop Kubo from doing something that I don't want him to do, I just have to blow a raspberry at him and he will just stop in his tracks and sit straight down. It's actually quite useful. Anyway, the second villager trading hall has been constructed. It looks nuts. It also looks off-center. If it is off-center, I will cry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Thank goodness for that. I was panicking. I have just thought though, and people who are in the technical community, you can answer this, with the point of interest system, with them facing each other, is there a chance that a villager on this side here will think I can pathfind to something over here and then set that as their point of interest? Because that's really going to ruin things. Now the big question is, and it always seems to be, where am I going to get all the string from? Because we need 80 pieces of string, and I definitely don't have 80 pieces of string. I've got 17 pieces of string, and that's kind of cheating. I can't take from there. I mean, we really need like a general mob farm. Does anyone on the server have a general mob farm? I feel like they actually don't. But the good thing is we don't need one, because I can always just take from the community storage in Sahara. I mean, that's what it's here for, isn't it? Okay, so with this in a position to seemingly start operating, I think it's time to actually go back into this area. And, well, I mean, it seems such a shame, but it's essentially tear out what we did in the previous episode of Hermitcraft. Yeah, there's no easy way to do it. I know we spent a lot of time trying to work out the best ways to do all of this stuff, and I'm sure it would have worked well, but I really like this villager trading hall design. So this is the one that I'm going to be going for, and then I also want to have our little trade selector a little bit closer to the trading hall so that I don't have to keep going to and from areas over large distances. Now, I was originally planning on killing this guy, but he is, with his little squid face, he is very adorable. So I think if I can just, I mean, he's got a diamond sword, so it does make it difficult. If I can just get him onto this minecart rail, then we might be able to save him and move him into the new villager trading hall. Okay, thank goodness for that. If we flick this lever here, he is now off. So he is going to continue being part of the villager trading hall. And I think we can all agree he looks rather lovely in there. Squid heads. Squid heads on anything other than the squid is hilarious. To be honest, they look pretty hilarious on squid as well. Please, please, please be able to pick up items. That would be amazing. He's already in there. Yes! Oh, that has made life so much easier. So this zombie just spawned in here, and now he's in there forever. Of course, for pure decoration's sake, we need to give him some form of head, and I personally think that this, I mean, you know, I've got it lying around, I think it would be perfect. This one's for you, my dude. Suits you. So now it is time for the actual villager trade selector. So as I think I mentioned earlier on in the episode, but also as I mentioned in the previous episode of Hermitcraft, the way that we select the trades of the villager is we literally place down something like a lectern. If we like the look of the trade, then we just trade emeralds with the villager and that locks those trades. If we don't like those trades, then we break the lectern, replace it, and the villager gets a whole new set of trades. It's a really kind of overpowered system, but it's also a really cool system. It's one that I quite like, and it leads itself to all sorts of opportunities, and we're going to be using and abusing that in this room right here. So that's where that's going to be going, but we need to make sure that there's no pathfinding to any of these, because there's also going to be a bunch of points of interest all along this area here. So we don't want the villager that's inside here to link up to those. So we need to build up some form of piston door. But before we do any of that, I thought it'd be a good idea to actually hook up all the minecart rails. So that goes across like that. And one other thing that I've done is I've added in this system right here. Once again, to try and avoid some pathfinding, instead of having just a normal exit, which obviously the villager would be able to pathfind out of and go to all the other points of interest, I've added in this little trapdoor that drops him through, and then he gets taken up like this into the system. I don't know if this stuff helps, but it seems smart. I tell you what else is smart, and I'm actually quite proud of. It's this piston door. It's super simple, okay? This is not magnificent in terms of redstone, but what I like is that it's kind of symmetrical, and it has actually quite a nice opening and closing sequence, and it looks really, really clean. I'm a fan. I've also just had a brainwave that actually, now that I've done it, I've realized isn't actually that good of a brainwave, but I quite like having this zombie here, so he's gonna stay. I am also now armed with 2 lecterns, so I feel like we should just give this a go. I've got some emeralds on me, I've got some books. I think we just give it a shot, we see what happens, and if it breaks, it breaks. One thing that's definitely on the to-do list, though, is to add a button to request a villager actually on the inside of my trading hall, as opposed to having to swim all the way out here to pick one up. It's quite annoying. Anyway, this guy seems to be on his way. He's gradually traveling along, and shoot, he has gone through. Okay. He's died. Not a good start. Is that really too far for him to fall? What on earth? I mean, to be fair, in the villagers' defense, it doesn't look like they have any knees, or at least I can't see any evidence of villagers having knees, and I imagine that sort of drop would be very painful with completely bolt straight legs. So I've added a little bit of like a water safety feature into this thing. Hopefully that improves it, and hopefully this new villager doesn't die on impact. If he does, I'm sorry. Here he goes. Alright, that sounded a lot more positive. It didn't sound like there was no death. There was absolutely no death there. This is good news. Now, it looked like it was getting dark, so I imagine that means he can't pick a trade, or at least he'll look like he's picked a trade, but then he won't change from there. Am I correct in saying that? I mean, I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know if you can tell. I definitely need to add in some form of clock or redstone lamp in here that shows me what the time is. After a lot of waiting and wondering what on earth is going on out there, this guy has just lost his profession, which means that now we can start running through his trade. So, loyalty 1, load of rubbish. Efficiency 3, not too bad, but still not the best. Frostwalker 2, also not bad. I mean, some of these aren't bad, you know. Unbreaking 2. I'm kind of hoping for Silk Touch or Mending. That's really what I want to be. Or Efficiency 5. Aggro Affinity is also good. Oh, gosh. You know what, though? Unbreaking 3 is genuinely really, really useful. Like, I feel like I would be missing out if I didn't have an Unbreaking 3 villager somewhere in here. Come on, Zero Tick Sugarcane Machine. I need 24 paper. Oh. So, I've just come back to him, and his trades have gone back to this. Oh man. Okay, so it looks like we need to have all the resources on hand, so that when we get that trade that we really like, we have to lock it in straight away, because clearly otherwise the dude can just change his mind. It is actually quite comical how little I seem to know about these trading systems. Come on, let me sleep so I can trade with my dude. Feather Falling 4 seems like a good way to go. I think he's now locked in. He's now my villager. Okay, so if we then hit this button right here, he shoots off. Hooray! It wasn't the smoothest. It wasn't the smoothest of entrances. But he's in. And he seems happy. And hopefully he still has his trade. Feather falling 4. Excellent news. Now, where is our zombie? Alright, let's sort this guy out. So our zombie is currently all the way over here. If we flick this lever at the end, is he even going to realise? Is he outside of the distance? Or is he going to recognise it? Oh no, we've got a dim one. Dude, there's a really nice villager all the way over at the other end. He is just asking to be eaten. Right, I guess I have to kind of tempt him along here. Oh, yeah, there we go. Here we go. And now we're talking. No, still not interested. Good grief. Okay, alright. He's been converted. Fantastic. So if we now throw this potion of weakness... Boom. And... boom. Happy days. Now I need to make sure that I stay in this area, because if I leave or log out, that guy's going to despawn and we're going to lose that trade. He is back. He is back. He is back. And... still 10 emeralds. 10 emeralds for Feather Falling 4. Now the good thing about this system is that we can actually drop this dude down again. And he can be converted into a zombie villager again. And then we can reduce his trades further. Oh no, I don't have any more weakness potions. Thankfully I actually did in my other chest, but has he despawned? No, he hasn't. Oh, good. So now we wait again, and let's take a look, shall we? 1 emerald for Feather Falling 4. 1 emerald. And 12 bits of paper per emerald. Oh, the deals are flying. Okay, so that is... I think we can all agree that's pretty great, isn't it? I'm almost tempted to buy a few myself. In fact, let's just to be sure, I'm gonna double lock in his trade. I don't think that's a thing, but there we go. I've just done a trade with him, so I think this means that we're now official. Now, obviously, this is all excellent news, but I tell you what's even better news. This is the best of the best news, actually. Grian is currently on holiday. He is away. He is away for the next week, which means that I can successfully farm sugarcane without it being stolen within the first 5 minutes. This is... it's going to completely change my life, to be honest with you, at least for the week. So I'm going to AFK overnight and get as much as I possibly can and then hoard it away somewhere. And just to be certain that I don't get potatoed, I've filled up my inventory with stone. It seems wise at this point. 11 hours later. I always do this. I always encase myself in something that I need a pickaxe to break, but then I never bring my pickaxe with me. Right, let's pop out here. Nope, jump boost isn't helping. Oh, I'm just out of range of jump boost. How ridiculous is that? Right, let's take a look then. Nice. That is more than I was expecting. From one night, that is not bad in the slightest. I'm impressed. I am thinking, though, over at the perimeter, I reckon it would be a good idea to build up a massive zero-tick-based sugarcane farm. I'd just have to warn the members of the server. Because I imagine probably wouldn't be great to run over long periods. Now I'm very curious, is my villager still there? He is! He has survived the night. He was not... oh my word. Oh, I think I just blocked a shot! I reckon that I think that shot would have actually hit our villager and potentially killed him, but I think it caught the bottom of my feet. Now let's see how many emeralds this guy wants to give me before he locks out all of his trades. I mean, I don't really know how the new system works, to be honest with you. Ah. Really? You gave me 16? Oh! I forget! So, he replenishes his trades and also gets new ones. I totally forgot about that. Okay, let's unlock everything that this villager has to offer. Ooh, 8 emeralds for a name tag. That is not bad. And that, if we do... in fact, hang on, I'm going to do that. Because if we do that, we can then rename this villager so that if he gets turned into a zombie in some kind of freak accident, he's not going to despawn. And also, if he just gets turned into a zombie because of this dude down here, then I log out the server. We're not actually going to lose him because he's been renamed. Smart. Welcome to the Villager Trading Hall, Mr. Subscribe. How can I help you? So if we take a look here, we've made him a master. He is now a master trader. And also, I gotta say, I've gone through my entire inventory of paper, pretty much. Let's just do the final ones. That's it. We've got over 2 stacks of emeralds. I am liking this new villager trading system. We've got Bane of Arthropods, we've got Respiration. None of those are particularly ridiculous. Curse of Vanishing is quite cool to have. But all in all, oh, this is going to be crazy. Once we get all the villagers in, we're going to have... Oh, it's going to be so useful. So, there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is today's episode of Hermitcraft. Really proud of how much we've managed to get done. If you can hear some shuffling in the background, that is because Kubo is currently in the process of stealing my shoes. What are you doing? What are you doing? Anyway, I really do hope that you enjoyed. If you did, please press that like button. If you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I'm out. I'll see you later. Hey, Kubo, do you want to say anything to the microphone for the outro? I've got you on my lap. This is your time to shine, dude. Oh, you're eating my... No, don't eat my microphone. Oh, well, I mean, clearly you're not quite cut out for the silver screen yet, but one day.